It's been 1 month since I found out my wife of 10 years was having an emotional affair again, been together 18 years and have 3 kids under 9, and I would like some advice, feedback on what to do. Summary: 4 years ago, I came across many messages between my wife and a colleague from her side business and caught them having an emotional affair. He was going through a divorce, was lonely and depressed, and had shared quite a bit with my wife. Messages weren't sexual, but a lot of "I love yous," "I miss you," "my heart breaks for you," basic flirting, etc., etc. I confronted her and she tried to brush it off as just friendship and supporting him through a tough time, and she had been through a tough time with her mom being sick, but admitted the messages did get a little out of hand and sounded bad. I was heartbroken as I love her more than anything, and we have had the best relationship for such a long time and never had any reason not to trust her. She apologized and promised to only contact him again if it was necessary for the business. I was pretty down for a few weeks, but forgave her and tried to move on. Took her out for dinner, communicated more, took her and the kids away for a holiday, and things were back on track with me making most of the effort. About a month after I initially found out, I came across some more messages with a lot of lovey-dovey stuff. She hadn't been able to sleep or eat without his contact for the 2 weeks it lasted, and was so happy that they were messaging again, hundreds of messages like this, but nothing sexual. The dates showed that they were in touch while we were on our holiday, and she even sent him some photos of herself in her revealing workout clothes to cheer him up, no nudes. So again, my heart was broken, and another few weeks went by, and she kept apologizing and telling me she loved me and it was just a mistake and that she had no feelings for him, so I eventually forgave again and tried to move on. There was a business trip overseas that she was supposed to go to where he would be, but I told her she couldn't go. She hassled for me for several weeks to let her go and assured me I could trust her and nothing would happen. I caved at the last minute and let her go on one condition, and that was no talking to him at all and no being alone with him, and she promised. I didn't feel good about her going, but she was sharing a hotel room with people I knew and he was going to be there with his wife, so not much could happen. During the trip overseas, I get a call from his wife saying she just walked in on him and my wife having sex. She later confirmed this was not the case, but she walked in on them alone in his room. She was sitting on the bed with clothes on, and he was in the bathroom naked and apparently masturbating. I was told nothing physical happened, they were all just going out to dinner together as a group. I was very upset being on the other side of the world looking after the kids to find all this out, the one promise of not talking or being alone with this guy, and she ends up in his hotel room alone with him. Once again, for the 3rd time, my heart is broken and seriously consider leaving her, but we had 2 kids at the time and she apologized so much and told me she loves me and nothing happened, etc. Another few weeks went by of heartbreak and eventually I forgave her again and gave her one more chance, but made it very clear if she ever made any contact with him again we would be finished for good. 1 year later things were great between us and the trust was back, and then I overhear a phone call she was on to her best friend and heard her say that she is caught up with this guy in the city during her lunch break and he filled her in on everything about his divorce, etc., and they had a good catch up. Well, as you can imagine, absolutely heartbroken when I heard this. It was my birthday and we were about to go and catch up with family, but I just left knowing that it was over between us. She claimed it was a brief catch-up, but very innocent. He was depressed and suicidal, and needed someone to talk to, and again insisted she loves me, and hadn't spoken to him for the whole year, and only wanted to be happy with me. I was heartbroken again for several weeks, and was determined to leave, but as time passed I eventually forgave her again for the 4th time as we were halfway through building a house together, and I didn't want to ruin our kids' lives. She always kept insisting she only loved me. Fast forward until now, and we have this new house, and have had another child last year, and after noticing odd behavior for many weeks I knew I had to check her phone, and yes, there was a very long message from her to him saying they have been in touch for more than a year, and recently during COVID it had turned into a full-blown emotional affair, messaging every morning and every night, thousands of messages. He had just got a new girlfriend and tried to stop the messaging, but my wife had declared her love for him and wished they could be together and said hopefully one day they could be. She also said she will always love him, can't live without his contact and support, can't eat, can't sleep, so painful to let him go, etc. She begged him to keep in touch and said she thought about him every night in bed with her undies on. She even had just sent him some undies in the mail and said it was her job to take them off him next time they caught up. She finished the message saying she can't wait to catch up soon once COVID restrictions ease and to hug him. I almost had a heart attack reading this, and I still feel sick a month later and thought for sure our marriage was definitely over this time around after all the broken promises. She claims it was all emotional support during the tough times of COVID because she was lonely. I found out that they did catch up again in person earlier this year and they have shared a kiss in the past, but nothing more. She claims it was a fantasy world and the words and messages meant nothing and she didn't want to lose the emotional support. She felt she couldn't come to me and communicate what she was feeling and how lonely she was, so this felt like the easy way out. She insists she has no feelings for this guy at all. In the month since I found out, she has cut off all contact, so she says, started seeing a therapist and reassured me every day that she was going to change, that she loves me and only me and wants us to be happy again. Wants nothing more than to get the support, attention and emotional support from me and no one else, and this will lead to beneficial affection, which is what I've been missing. My mind and emotions change every few hours from I need to leave this woman to maybe we can make it work. I seriously don't know what to do and I feel sick all of the time thinking about those words she wrote to another man, all the broken promises, all the heartache, all the lying, the betrayal, the deceit, etc., etc. I would love some feedback, opinion, advice on what to do here. Most of the time I think about leaving and moving on, but we have 3 awesome kids I love more than anything in this world and I can't stand the thought of only seeing them every second week and ruining their lives, etc., etc. She wants to get counseling together and is prepared to do anything for one more chance, but I feel like it's happened way too many times. She's had way too many chances. Help please?